The Valenti frigate Dawn's Reprieve tumbled through the void, trailing debris and frozen atmosphere like a dying comet. Commander Talara of the Unified Coalition pressed her three-fingered hand against the cracked viewscreen, watching her homeworld of Avon shrink to a pinprick of blue light. The battle had been brief and brutal. The Kryn warships had torn through her convoy with methodical efficiency, leaving nothing but wreckage and silence. Her bridge crew was gone. The life support system wheezed its last recycled breaths. Hull breaches vented precious oxygen into space faster than the emergency seals could compensate. Talara's violet skin had already taken on the grayish pallor of oxygen deprivation. Her secondary lungs burned with each shallow breath. She was alone. Completely, utterly alone. The Coalition reinforcements wouldn't arrive for another 6 hours. Her ship had maybe 20 minutes of breathable air remaining. The mathematics of survival were simple and unforgiving. Talara had run the calculations. 3 times, hoping her hypoxia-clouded mind had made an error. It hadn't. She keyed open her personal log for the final time, her voice barely above a whisper. "This is Commander Talara. Service number 9-4-2-7. Dawn's Reprieve is lost. All hands lost. I regret that I could not bring them home." Her voice cracked. "I regret that I cannot return to my children. Tell them their mother thought of them at the end. Tell them I was brave." The words felt hollow. She didn't feel brave. She felt tired and cold and desperately sad that she would never again hold her younglings or feel the warm sun of Avan on her face. Talara closed her eyes and waited for the darkness. The impact jerked her back to consciousness. Not the sharp violence of weapons fire, but a solid, decisive clang of metal against metal. Magnetic docking clamps, her training whispered. Someone was boarding her dying ship. Her hand instinctively reached for her sidearm, but the weapon had been lost somewhere in the chaos of battle. Talara struggled to her feet, swaying as the thin air made her thoughts sluggish and confused. The Kryn had returned to finish her. Fine. She would face them standing. The airlock cycled open with a hiss of equalizing pressure. Fresh, oxygen-rich air flooded the bridge. Talara gasped, her lungs expanding painfully as they drank in the life-giving atmosphere. Her vision cleared. Slowly, the gray fog retreating from the edges of her perception. A figure stood in the airlock. Not Kryn. The proportions were all wrong. Shorter than her own people, broader through the shoulders. Bipedal. Wearing a bulky environment suit with a reflective helmet that hid their features. The figure raised both hands, palms out. A universal gesture of peace. When they spoke, their voice came through a translator mounted on their chest rig. "Easy there, Commander. I'm here to help." The accent was strange, the phrasing unfamiliar. Talara's exhausted mind struggled to place it. "Who are you?" she managed. "Name's Marcus Webb, captain of the salvage ship Second Chance." The figure reached up and unsealed their helmet, pulling it free. Talara stared. She had heard of humans, of course. Everyone in the Coalition had heard the story since first contact 3 years prior. A species from a remote yellow star, possessed of seemingly infinite stubbornness and an alarming tendency to find trouble. They had been courted by both the Coalition and the Kryn Dominion, but had so far remained frustratingly neutral in the war. The human male before her looked young by the standards she had been told. Short dark hair, tanned skin, and startlingly pale eyes the color of winter ice. He gave her a lopsided smile. "You look like you've had a rough day." "My crew is dead," Talara said flatly. "My ship is destroyed. The Kryn will return. You should leave before they find you here." "Probably," Marcus agreed. He moved onto the bridge with surprising grace, despite his suit's bulk, his pale eyes scanning the damage with a practiced assessment. "How many survivors?" "Just me." "Then we'd better get you out of here." He reached for her arm. Talara pulled back. Why are you here? Humans are neutral. This is not your war. Marcus's smile faded. Saw your distress beacon? Saw your ship dying. Figured someone needed help. He met her eyes steadily. That enough of a reason? But the risk, lady, I've been lectured about risk by 6 different species. You all make very compelling arguments right up until someone actually needs saving. He gestured toward the airlock. Now, we can philosophically debate humanity's place in galactic politics. Or we can get you onto my ship before your air runs out completely. Your choice. Talara's pride warred with her survival instinct. Pride lost, she nodded. Marcus led her through the airlock and into his ship. The second chance was a battered civilian vessel, clearly modified from some kind of cargo hauler. The interior smelled of metal and recycled air and something organic she couldn't identify. Coffee, her translator helpfully supplied. Take a seat, Marcus said, pointing to an acceleration couch. We need to burn hard before those Kryn ships circle back. Talara collapsed into the seat, her body finally acknowledging how close to death she had come. Tremors ran through her limbs. Marcus handed her a silvery emergency blanket and a sealed container of water. Drink slowly. You're dehydrated. The water was cold and perfect. Talara closed her eyes, letting the liquid soothe her parched throat. When she opened them again, Marcus was at the controls, his hands moving across the displays with quick confidence. Where are we going? She asked. Coalition space. There's a supply depot about 4 hours from here. We'll get you transferred to your people. The ship shuddered as the engines engaged. Through the view screen, the wreckage of Dawn's Reprieve fell away behind them. Talara watched her ship disappear into the darkness. You said you saw my distress beacon. That's right. Human ships are not common in this sector. What were you doing here? Marcus was quiet for a moment. Salvage run. There's good money in pulling components from destroyed ships. Both sides leave plenty of debris. You profit from our war. Yes. He didn't sound defensive or ashamed. I also pull survivors from that debris when I find them. Pulled a Kryn pilot out of a wrecked fighter last month. Pulled 3 of your people from a transport the week before. War's terrible. I can't stop it. But I can try to save the people it chews up. The Kryn pilot. Did you return him to his people? Her. And yes, handed her over to the nearest Dominion patrol. Marcus glanced back at Talara. Look, I know what you're thinking. How can I help both sides? Thing is, I don't see sides. I see people dying in the black because politicians 1,000 light years away decided they had reasons to kill each other. When I find someone floating in a broken ship, I don't ask what flag they salute. I just pull them out. Talara absorbed this. In her culture, such neutrality would be seen as cowardice at best, complicity at worst. Yet this human had risked his life to save her, had risked Kryn retaliation to pull one of their pilots from death. Your people truly remain neutral, even now? Officially, yes. Unofficially? Marcus shrugged. Lots of humans have strong opinions. Some have joined coalition forces as volunteers. Some work for the Kryn. Most of us just want everyone to stop shooting at each other. He adjusted their course slightly. For what it's worth, I think the Kryn started this war for bad reasons. But I've met enough of them to know they're not monsters. Just people following orders, same as you. They killed my crew, 43 souls. I know, I'm sorry. The words were simple but genuine. Wars full of people killing other people who probably don't deserve it. Makes me tired. They flew in silence for a while. Talara found herself studying the human. He moved with a casual competence, clearly at home in his battered ship. His pale eyes occasionally flicked to the sensor displays, watching for threats. Despite his youth, he carried himself with the weariness of someone who had seen too much. Why do this? She finally asked. You could salvage without rescuing anyone. That would be safer and more profitable. Marcus was quiet for so long that Talara thought he wouldn't answer. When he did speak, his voice was soft. Had a sister once. Pilot. Got caught in a station explosion in the outer colonies. Floated in her damaged ship for 2 days before anyone found her. She was alive when they got there, but barely. Spent 3 months in medical. He paused. She told me the worst part wasn't the pain or the fear. It was the certainty that no one was coming. That she'd been forgotten. I am sorry, she recovered. Physically, anyway. But I remember visiting her in that hospital, seeing what that abandonment did to her. Made me promise myself something. He turned to face Talara fully. That if I ever found someone floating in the dark, I'd make damn sure they knew someone was coming. That they hadn't been forgotten. Talara felt her throat tighten. Your sister. Is she well now? Teaches flight school on Earth. Married, 3 kids. Sends me pictures. Marcus smiled, genuine warmth in his expression. She's good. The sensor board chimed. Marcus turned back to the controls. Coalition patrol just pinged us. They're sending an escort. We'll have you home soon, Commander. Home. The word ached. Talara thought of her children, waiting for news. They would have been told she was missing. They would have begun to mourn. But she would see them again, would hold them and tell them she loved them. Because a human salvager had decided that no one should die alone in the dark. Marcus Webb, she said softly. Yeah? Thank you.